An out-of-balance journal entry cannot post in General Ledger. Total debit entries must equal the total credit entries entered. You must correct an out-of-balance entry before updating General Ledger. You can recall and modify journal entries at any time until you complete the update process. To recall a journal entry you have previously entered, click the List Entries button to modify the journal entry. If the update process was completed, you must record an adjusting entry to correct the mistake. When printing a trial balance for all accounts, the totals at the beginning balance and ending balance columns for the report total should equal 0. The debits and credits should display the same amounts. If these conditions are not met, General Ledger is out of balance. You can also view this out of balance on the General Ledger Detail Report or the General Ledger Detail by Source Report. There can be some very unique situations where you need to use the one-sided entry feature to correct an out of balance situation. In this case, you must have your user logon set up with a role assigned to the appropriate security event to post out-of-balance entries. Let's review our General Ledger trial balance now. And we'll first run it with the ending balance only. If I go to the end of my report, we can see that it says that the trial balance report is not in balance, and I can quickly see that my debit and credit do not equal. Let's look at this in a beginning balance activity ending balance version. Again, going to the end of the report, I can see that at the beginning of this period we were in balance because the beginning balance is 0. However, the ending balance is not 0. I've got $3,000 difference there. And if I look at my debits and credits, I can see that they're not in balance. Now, I might be researching this using my General Ledger Detail Report or my General Ledger Detail by Source Report. In fact, if I go ahead and run out this report, and go to the end, of the report, I can see that same out of balance condition. Well, after doing thorough research with my General Ledger Detail, looking at my source journals, my original documents, I've determined that something very unusual happened. And we did have a power outage the other day. And what happened is that when we were updating, only one part of the entry managed to post. So this is that unusual case that you may need to use the one-sided entry. So I'll do this in my general journal entry. I'm going to select my source journal, just assign the next entry number. And this happened to have been a payroll account that I was trying to fund, and cash came out, but it didn't get in. So I'm going to go ahead and make that entry and apply it and accept it. And now we see this message. Now this message may look different in that you may or may not see this 1 as an option. It tells me that the journal entry is out of balance and the entry must balance to post to the general ledger. And ordinarily, if I was doing my normal journal entries, I would go and fix this. In fact, I could use the correct. That would take me back to the journal entry screen, and I could put the other part of this entry in. If I wasn't sure what the offset account was, I could say accept, and then I could go research and make that entry and then post it. If I don't know what's going on and I want to post, I could delete this entry and handle it later. But in this case, we're going to use this 1. And remember, you have to have the user credentials available to do that. So I'm going to use the 1, and I'm going to post. And we can see on the journal, it does show me that I'm out of balance. But again, this is a very unusual situation. And I'll go ahead and close this and update my general journal. Now, let's see the impact that had on the general ledger trial balance. And if we go to the last page, We now see that our debits equal credits, and now we are in balance. We've just looked at an out of balance condition in the current period, but there might be instances where the out of balance occurred in a prior period. To correct the out of balance, you must print the trial balance report and review the total line. Now you may need to do that several times and for prior periods until you find a trial balance report with the beginning balance total at 0. You'll print the trial balance report for all accounts including beginning balance activity and ending balances, and then you can print the general ledger detail by source report to help you find out the out of balance entry. You'll want to print the report for all journals, all batches, and for the date range of the period out of balance. After you've located the out of balance entry, you can refer to the original register to determine what portion of the entry is incorrect. So it's very similar to what we just looked at, going back period by period until you find a beginning balance of 0, making your appropriate entries, and then making that correction.